In this video, we're going to look at how we can take a survey and embed it into a website, but not just putting the survey into the website, but also setting the specific language for the survey that we want to show. So in another video, I've walked through how you actually set up languages, and if we go to the customization menu on the right and we look at languages, we can see that this one has French, Spanish, and German set up. Now, if we click on the Send tab, and we've got our various options. One of them is embedding. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. We're going to do inline, which is essentially similar to an iframe. It's basically going to be embedding it into a page itself. Now, what we see here is that we have some code, and this code is a script, and within it, it contains things like the ID of the survey, which we can see here. And what it also contains is the variables that we have for this survey. Now, I don't have any additional variables. I've actually just got the three standard ones, and that is first name, last name, and the locale variable. Locale is basically the language. So what we would do is we would click copy, and we would copy that to the clipboard so that we can then paste it. Now, if I go to, this is my website, and I have a page where we've got this customer voice server where I'm going to be embedding it. Now, we can see that we've got, if we scroll down, we basically have the script that is being given to you within Dynamics 365 Customer Voice on that survey where we click send and we go to embed. That's the script that it's giving to us. But what we also need to do is then do a couple of additional things, because if we just took the script and put it in, the survey wouldn't actually render, it wouldn't display on the page. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to add in a div. Now, I've just put in a tag that is going to center the survey. So you could do other things, but I've just put that in there. And then the next thing is I've got a div. Now, a div is basically a section. Where am I actually going to be putting this survey? And we have to give the div an ID. So we've got div ID equals survey div. And then I'm setting the height of that div, and then I'm also setting the width of that div as well. And then you can do other things using CSS inline if you wanted to. So I've got the original script, then I've got the div that determines where on the page it's going to be displayed. And then what I need to do is, if I scroll down a bit further, we can see that that's the start of the div. And then when you close that tag, that's the end of the div. So within the div itself, that's where we're putting an additional script that will then load that survey and actually display it. And unfortunately, within Customer Voice, it doesn't actually give you this, although there is a how to use this code page that you can then go to and scroll through, and it does actually say you must create a div, blah, blah, blah. So it is there, but it's on an additional documentation page, which isn't so great because it seems like you just need the first script, but you don't. So what this has now got, and hopefully it makes sense, but we've actually got the first name and the last name. Now, what this will come through as is locale, like that. Now, if I just left it at that and we embedded the survey, it would show up with the default language. But I want to display it as French. And the locale for that is FR, lowercase, hyphen, FR, capital. Now, if I go back to the import file that I used, and I've put this in another video, in another blog post, we basically can download the language file, an Excel template, and we've got the columns where we would translate all of those questions and all of the text. On the headers, that's where it shows the locale. So that's how I know that French is FR-FR and German would be DE and so on. So I'm going to get it from there. If you download the template and you don't see these different columns, it's because you haven't actually set up a language or any additional languages for that. So if I now go back here, so I would type in where the locale variable would be, I could put in FR-FR. Then I can publish my page, and then when I look at it, it will display whatever language I've set and the locale variable, it will display that automatically. Now the user or the person looking at this page can still go ahead and they can flip it, but it just means that when I go to this page, let's go to German, if I go to this page, then by default, I've said display it in French. So this hopefully is helpful if you've got one survey set up in multiple languages, but then maybe you have different versions of this page that you're sharing out, one that's in French, one that's in German, and so on, is I could embed my survey and actually set the language accordingly as to what I want to display. So hopefully this helps. This is how you can use the multilingual survey, set up additional languages, and then determine which language of the survey will display when you actually have it embedded in a web page. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Hi, I'm Megan Walker. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned something from it. If you don't want to miss out on any other content, you can go ahead and click on my face below to subscribe. And if you want to watch the next video, you can do that by clicking over here and go ahead and get started. Thanks again.